Welcome to Feature Preview. This video will talk about the Decal node, and I'm pretty sure you probably heard a bunch about it before. I tried it several times and I never quite could get the feeling of what it was capable, other than just like creating bullet holes or something like that. But I got some ideas, so we'll go through them in this video. So as you can see here, in my first example, I have a cylinder, and you can see that decals are able to project around cylinders. It's not around actually, but the way that I'm seeing decal nodes is like a projector, you see, like in a classroom. And I'm trying to project something on top of a surface. For sure, this can generate quite interesting effects or animations. As you can see here, I'm just using the Godot node, but let's try something else. So I created a new texture, like a random with some white texture with some dots like this. And let's see what it does. So you can already imagine that these dots are like black. It could be red, could be glowing. For example, one of them is emission. So I'll change this to red and include it in the emissions too. So now I have like a glowing light with the red spots probably. Let me increase the emission. Or even if I use this. And with just like random images that I created, I was able to like generate something that would only be available through shaders, as far as I know. My tip for you is use decals in many ways, in whatever ways you think possible or interesting. And this is just one of them. I'm using a decal while rotating. Let's try something else. So here is the decal in its raw format. The things that you can use to control it are the extents, like this. You can also edit the normal ORM, which I actually don't know what it is, and emission that I just exemplified to you, and some parameters as emission energy. You can use the modulate to change the color in runtime, change the albedo mix so that it doesn't totally replace the color from whatever it's decaling. So it could be something very slightly red, and whatever texture is below it works, like it shows through. And same thing for the normal. The fade parameters are very interesting because, as you can see, the decal has its extents and it just goes away with the fade like this, but normally it actually just gradually leaves. So this is another way of using this node. Maybe you want a ghost to go through a wall, and I don't know, and it appears something in the wall and goes away just by tweening this node. The distance fade is also interesting because the decal goes away if I zoom out. So maybe the length can be fairly large and you can just see it fading away by distance. And of course the distance can be very small. So I imagine this, for example, in puzzle games where you need to go like very near an object to actually see something glowing. So imagine this thing is actually a glow, not the albedo, it's just the emission part. But far away it's like simple, but if you come close to it, and make it even smaller, maybe 5 and 2. If you get very close to it, it's like, oh, it's glowing. Okay, so let's try this out using the same ideas that I had in previous videos. And here I just created a simple character so that I can move around. And you can see that nearby I have this glowy thing on, I don't know, the wall, the object or something. And if I go far away, it just disappears. Of course, you can just do this in code. In my opinion, the decal node is just a helper function or helper node that does things that you could do in code and using shaders as well. But certainly it's easier to just have it ready. Let's go to another use case, which is say bullets on the wall. Let me create a small bullet thing and we'll get right back. So for example, I created this bullet thing. We'll replace the call, the bullet, and let's see how it appears. And after tinkering with a normal map and a simple albedo, this is what it came up with. Very simple, something that needs to be instanced wherever the bullet hits. So let's go to the player and create from the shotgun rate, and do this fairly quick because I imagine you guys know how to do this. So I have built a very simple scene here. As you can see, there's like a laser sight kind of thing following, and this laser sight is a decal. And when I shoot, it creates this bullet thingy, which disappears after a while. And you can see, since it's focusing on the normal of the hit, it kind of goes through. So maybe I can change a little bit in the shot, the decal, this thing here, make it smoother. Maybe even more smooth would be better, and smaller probably too. So this is the decal of the shot. I'll just make it smaller so it doesn't go through, but maybe it's something that you want to do. It like creates like a trail inside the wherever it hit. In my case, I just want to be something slight because it looks fine. And I can shoot and use this laser sight for it. So what did I actually do to do that? I created a player that just has normal movement, including a raycast. Within it, I do the normal movement thing, and in the physics process, I check it if the raycast is colliding. If it is, I have a red dot decal, which I used like a little sphere to test out where it should actually be pointing at. So remember, look at uses the Z axis. I also created, say, a red circle and an emission with a red circle and black borders. If I can click here, you can see what is happening. It's a very small decal with some fade, but very strong energy. So back to the player, I make sure it's hitting. I get the point and the normal, calculate where the position of the red dot should be, and position it there. And similarly, I have a shot function, which happens when I shoot. I check once again if it's colliding. If it is, I create a bullet instance, add it on the tree root, just because I don't want to mess up my player. Do the same calculation as above and create a tween node, just waiting for 1 second. I'll increase this to 3. And when it finishes, I just do a free. Notice how simple now using tween this is. And here you go. So this is probably the main use case that I can see. There are certainly other use cases. For example, one that I've seen is, okay, so this model has like a LOD implemented in it, as you can see from my LOD video. And within it, say I want for this house to have like a snowy background. If I add a decals, I'll have a white thing, yeah. So now this is white. Like it's literally painting something white on top. I can imagine a game using this to like paint things, the player paints things, so it's like decals on top of things. But at the same time, I can use the mix to make it smaller, less pronounced, put some fade, and just make sure this goes on top of everything, the entire house. So now with this, I can say it's like some snow is coming on top. And I can animate the decal just coming down and making everything on top of the house like whitish in this case here. Or maybe it's like a very different white that makes things actually glow. It's another possibility. It depends on your artistic skills. Same thing could go to like the entire level. Say the level is receiving something coming from the atmosphere, and suddenly it all goes white. I don't know why. Maybe because of snow. And you have snowflakes using a particle system at the same time. So these things can create more life in your scene if you use decals to change the scene dynamically while things are happening. In this case, it's weather. It could be something else. And especially if it goes with a particle system. So this is all that I have for you today. Thank you for watching.